And one of the reasons that it really helps me so much is because, personally I've had a chance to do mind detox with hundreds upon hundreds of people. And I've basically been doing mind detox to help people get peace with some of the most traumatic things that have ever happened to them in their life. And through the process, they've been able to see a new perspective on what happened, and in doing so they start to feel different about what happened, and there's more peace and less resistance, and they make a shift. But it all comes from this simple thing called hindsight. Have you heard of that? Hindsight is where kind of you look back on what's happened in the past and you can kind of see why it happened. You can see that it happened for the best. We've all had that experience where we might have gone through a terrible breakup, and then a few years later we look back and are grateful that we didn't end up with that person. We can see with hindsight that it wasn't right, and that it was the best thing for that relationship to end. Even at the time we didn't see that, and we might have gone through a lot of trauma and stress and anguish and hurt and all that sort of stuff. And so hindsight is really amazing, and the more you play with being willing to find the light wherever there's darkness, you're able to see what you couldn't see before from a bigger place, from a bigger perspective. Now, at no point am I trying to turn around and say this is a good thing that people are dying and there's this virus and we're all having to stay at home. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying good or bad, who knows? And it's a big, big difference. It really helps you to take a step back and not resist reality, not be attached to something else happening instead, and find more peace with it. Now, the really cool thing about hindsight is the more you play with it, the more hindsight catches up and bumps into the present moment. What do I mean by that? Well, if you were to look at a few things that happened, say, 2 decades ago, and go, okay, what can I know now? If I know it then, I'd never have stressed so much, been so upset or hurt or whatever. What can I know now if I'd known then I would never have felt that way in the first place? And you start to see different ways of looking at it, different ways of perceiving it. And you get to a point where you can be at least at peace with it, that it happened for the best. You keep doing that, and you keep doing that, maybe from 3 weeks ago, and then 3 days ago. And then before you know it, this hindsight bumps into the present moment, and there's just this sense of whatever is happening, good, bad, who knows? It might be actually happening for the best. I don't know that yet. And we don't know that as a collective humanity, why necessarily this is happening. Yes, we can turn around and say we all need a time out, that humanity was running for their lives, they were never stopping, and we need a collective restart. We need a collective chance to have a time out, stop, be still, and be inside. Now, you can look at that literally being inside the house, or you can look upon that more metaphysically, about being inside ourselves. We have less distractions now, distracting us from ourselves. We're less busy with work potentially, we have less external entertainment, we have less distractions. We have a chance to stop and go inside and get to know ourselves and be still and get to know the present moment, not always future planning. There's not much to plan right now apart from our next meal and the next time we're going to have a shower or whatever. Life has become very simple for many of us if we let it. If we leave the moment and go into our mind and keep thinking about stuff, then it can get very complicated very quickly. So I invite you to play with this good, bad, who knows. Play with hindsight. If you are wanting to get more peace with your past, then take a pad of paper, write down a few of the things that you think are bad, and be very courageous, be very open-minded, and explore some positives about, what can I know now? If I know it then, I could have had a bigger picture perspective. And when you have this new perspective, you naturally feel different, you naturally don't resist it so much, and you actually are able to have peace with the past. But also, if you keep playing with this, you can have peace with your present.